In the last section, we spoke about the events class. Before we get started on writing out any implementation, I want to give you one quick tip here. So notice that whenever we call the on method, we pass in an event name and a callback. And it's really important to remember that we should be able to call the on method multiple times with the same event name and register multiple callbacks to the same event name. Clearly, we're going to need some type of storage mechanism in the class to somehow relate an event name to a list of different callbacks. So personally, I would really recommend that you consider putting in a constructor method. And maybe in that constructor, you initialize some data storage mechanism here. So it could be an array, an object, something, whatever it needs to be, in order to relate some event name or some multiple list of events to multiple callbacks or a list of callbacks. Let's take a look at one possible data structure that would probably serve this very nicely. So I'm going to pull up a diagram really quick. All right, here we go. So I'm going to suggest that maybe we create a plain JavaScript object where the keys of the object are all the different event names that have been registered with our events library, and then the values for each of these keys could be an array that contains all the different callbacks that we should call. Then whenever one of these events are triggered, we can iterate through the list of callbacks and trigger each one in line. So again, this is one possible way of doing this, not necessarily the only way, but it's a pretty straightforward way that I recommend you give a shot. So back inside of our constructor, again, we could say that this.events is equal to an empty object, and then you will spend a little bit of time in on, trigger, and off to figure out how to manipulate and add events to the events object. So at this point, I'd like you to give a shot at the solution, and we'll talk about one possible solution or go through the actual written implementation in the next video. So I'll see you in just a minute.